All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the finals of Week 4 of the Judgment League. I am Pato. With me soon is going to be Highwind as we're getting the rest of these games rolling. But these are our two top teams facing off against each other. Quick bands coming off the board: Twisted Fate, J4, Jace. And then on the other side, we see Thresh, Rise, and Elise. And really quick picks coming out right off the gate from Satsulo's team. They're going to be able to pick up this Nunu. And on the backside, they're like, hey, if you're going to pick up Nunu, then we're going to pick Zac. And this is always going to be a fun, happy, super strong top-tier jungler game. Although they're thinking about that last pick. But definitely a team that looks pretty solid here. Zic picking up a lot of his Victoria brethren right on the back of Dragonfist Lee Sin, the Italian one. These are players that he's played with a bunch of times in different lands and different tournaments. And then backing those up with Anankun and Mr. Ha Ha Ha. Excited to see how those guys perform. But Satsulo, Jacob Hysteria, WizFujin, this is like a proven formula. This guy has always gotten to this phase, always 2 wins. The question is, will Satsulo actually be able to finally close this one out and seal the deal? Or will he always be, like the runner-up? Because that's what he's been the last week. Now, it's great because all his players are now, going to be able to probably go to the finals because they have a lot of points. But the question is, will he be able to actually win the finals? He needs to get over that hump, and then once that gets broken down, maybe he'll be able to, finally take over this league. Because right now, every time, wins the first 2 games, doesn't quite able to finish it off, and even picked up Afro Moo last week. He's not able to steal the deal with Afro Moo. So now, we've seen some shenanigan lanes. I heard, I know that he wanted to do this Rise lane with Fujin early on in round 1. Apparently that went down, some craziness. So I don't think we're probably going to see that again, but who knows? They can do whatever the heck they want. Since WizFujin and Satsulo know each other very well. And so I kind of feel like these teams, the reason they kind of worked out, Jacob Hysteria was kind of like a last-minute captain's pick by Satsulo earlier on, but now he's become like a mainstay. He's been playing with him all these weeks. Now him and WizFujin, they all just kind of gelled together, and they play like a really solid game. And likewise, Zic and his Victoria crew kind of do the same thing. So we're kind of seeing the same themes come from both teams here. Now, Janna, Zac, that kind of tells me a little bit of in, a little bit of out. It's not quite fully definitely dedicated to just going all in. But that Rumble would tell me they want to go all in, and that would be a strong pickup. Where the other team, you can definitely tell that they, Vlad's going to want to be able to get his ult off and get a lot of AoE damage for team fights, get that extra bonus, and then Kha'Zix's going to be diving into the back lines to try to be able to pick off assassins. And Nunu's just kind of a zoning tool and counter jungling tool early on, and just really annoying in ganks. But if they actually lock in these picks, this is on, because Wall of Pain with the Equalizer is the most pain you will ever feel in your life. You're being taking true damage, but it looks like maybe they won't lock that in, and Zyra would actually be a really big pickup. They must have a lot of disengage if they're relying on that, but no, just as good. And we've seen this combo time and time again. Zac, Orianna, the ball, the jump in, the let's bounce, the command shockwave. Absolutely devastating, and throw an Equalizer on top of that. Get out of here. That's
why
gonna be
wouldn't you throw an Equalizer on top of that?
I don't know why you wouldn't. Apparently you want. At that point you're just stealing kills. But Vlad is going to be able to pool, and that's going to be the best response to that that their team has so far at this point. But that's a scary lineup. That's just R and win with a little bit of setup and finesse. But still, he's a crafty veteran. He's played against these teams before. What are they going to kind of dial up to deal with this? That's going to kind of be the interesting question for their side. And it looks like they were kind of thinking about going for a Nocturne, but, we haven't seen a lot of Maokai, but Maokai wouldn't be the worst choice.
Yeah, it wouldn't be the worst. It'd actually be a pretty good choice. But it looks like they're playing this really heavy all-in composition. This is the solo queue of solo queue teams. You got the, oh my god, Nunu first pick, and then it's that double assassin. Oh no, they're running.
It's like triple assassin.
They're running a kill lane bot.
Yeah, they're going for it. This is kind of their. This is kind of what they do. They want to run these unorthodox lanes. And that's kind of their kind of advantage for it seems this tournament, because Satsulo and WizFujin, again, they've played support and AD together so much, but they've also just played bot lane together so much that they're just kind of on the page with all these different weird kill lanes that they can bring out at different times and try to make something happen. And
Are we sure
maybe
there's not like a proxy pick or something? This might be legit.
no, I would actually believe that they would do this. I mean, there's no way Wiz Fujin doesn't have an AD, right? Like which one of these champions? Like, there's no way he's like, I don't own this AD. I gotta go Akali to proxy pick it. Oh, then they're gonna bring it down and swap it up. So yeah, there we go. Yeah, I have to believe this is legit, and this is what they're gonna stick with. Maybe they'll swap it around a little bit more, but should be fun lanes either way. We have the super like tried and true AoE blow your face off with a little bit of reset with Janna, who can also just pop people up and create CC. And then we have the like all in, like you're gonna go AoE and we're gonna hop over you and dash through you with everything, get to your backlines, chew up all your squishies, and hope that all your AoE just basically misses us by virtue of us just diving in.
Just diving in. Oh my goodness. That is, I mean, that's a lot of, I mean, they've got the reset on Kha'Zix. I mean, I don't, I'm failing to see how this, I don't even know how this is going to work. It's blowing my mind.
This is one of those things where it's like, all right, jumping to League Week 4, I haven't been able to win yet. We're going for broke. Like, we're either going to win big or we're going to lose big, but one of the ways it's going to be big, and that's the way we're going with it.
I feel like this Vlad is just like, should be like a fizz or something. Like
yeah, just why not just complete the cycle? Like, let's make everybody that nullifies like kind of like AoE stuff, and like fizz would be great to playful trickster through stuff. Like, I don't know, like this is a pretty interesting team comp because theoretically, if they do get caught, like Equalizer can be mitigated a lot by the fact that they're going to be able to hopefully be able to dash out and like go about their business. But yeah, like I mean, this is just like
okay. So I mean, just let's process this a little bit. So we've got Nunu as the support, and he's rocking Clairvoyance, which we haven't seen since Season 1. So my guess is they're going to go and try to find a like, I don't know if there's going to be some sort of like double jungle where they're going to send like Wizfood, like it would be like a normal 2v1 swap, right? So let's say Wizfujin was playing a Varus or something. So let's say we'd be like, okay, we're going to 2v1, they're going to run our 2v1 top versus Rumble, is what I'm guessing, is what they would expect to do. Or it might be a 2v1 mid. Oh. I think it might be a 2v1 mid. And then you send Vlad wherever the 1v2 is, and then you send Akali to have the 1v1. I think that's what we're going to see.
Yeah, they might do that, but again, like you don't really want to throw Vlad into like a 1v2 because he's kind of one of those champions that just wants to like farm up. Although he can't sustain, but like that just kind of be like throwing him into like a sort of a counter. So I don't know if it's better to have him. I mean, because like he's either going to be facing Rumble or he's going to be facing Orianna. He can actually do pretty decent against Rumble because Rumble's going to have like a slow build up to himself.
Right, before he's going to he gets a little bit stronger at 5, obviously really strong at 6, where Vlad's like, I don't really hit like
9.
9. I don't really get annoying until 9. Not a whole lot of gank potential either. He's rocking Ghost Heal. So I mean, we're not going to see a lot of Nocturne ganks with Jacob. I don't think.
The other problem too is like this team, like they have to be able to get kills and then get the objectives off of kills because there's no way they're gonna push anything. Like Vlad's the only ranged champion. Like how are they gonna like push a turret down? Like this is gonna be. It's just one of those like all in like get the kills early and try to roll, and they're gonna have to pray for that. And if Zig's team is just like patient, hugs their towers and like sucks on their thumbs, like they could probably just like pull this out on virtue of that. But it's gonna be interesting.
Now, I mean, like, I can't even talk about Zig's team. Like, it's just standard.
Yeah.
it's just like it's
AoE.
kind of like an AoE comp. We kind of press R and win. We feel comfortable with these champs. We've been doing it since, like, season beta. I mean, so, I don't know. I'm going to go ahead and say I'm excited to see this match. By the way, I don't know if you was following along with some of the other games, but the Shorter Ace round 1 game had over 60 kills at 30 minutes in the game.
I saw that highlight, and then I saw you ask if it was Aram, which was the same question I had, and then it was no. So I guess they just wanted to kill each other. So maybe it'll be like this game. Like maybe there'll be lots of deaths, and like because that's the only way that like Satsuno's team's gonna get stuff done is like just getting kills and trying to work it that way.
Oh,
And a
this
lot of
is
diving.
yeah, this is an obscene snowball composition. Every single one of these guys want to snowball. Vlad more so of the hey, I kind of just want to farm and then snowball into that mid to late game AP carry.
Yeah, he's the
But
angler.
he's like, well, we could all fail and then maybe Vlad will carry us out at the end.
like my dream though, like because like this has never actually happened, but like my dream, at least like as a Zed player, is that I would have a Vlad on my team so that he would ult, and then I would ult, and then I would deal more damage, which then would deal more damage with my ult, like the super red dots of Doom, because they both kind of work the same. Like they both kind of like hover over like a champion. Like that's like the absolute way to make sure there's no way possible someone could live through something. And that's kind of been my dream, although unfortunately Zed not in this game. Instead, all these other assassins are going to hopefully enjoy that. The fact that they're going to be able to like deal a bunch of extra like percent damage just based on the fact that Vlad like gets a nice coverage, which is something they're going to have to, Zig's team at least, like that's the only way I could really see them, like they kind of like blow their load, don't really get a lot of the chunk, and then Vlad, because they all like kind of like suck in because of that, Vlad gets off a good ult and the assassins kind of clean up and run away with it. But in a traditional team fight, it's like usually not going to happen for them.
Yeah, I mean we got the triple gap closed. So I'm actually expecting to see Satsulo roaming, and that's why I kind of was expecting a 2v1 mid lane. I think with that clairvoyance, they're gonna have a good idea where Zac is gonna be. They're gonna want to try and take buffs away from Zac, and if they can if they can put Zac behind and force Zac to do some ganking, that might be enough time, like those first 5-6 minutes, which is in my opinion gonna really really tell us if this game's gonna end quick or go long. Like I don't think this game's going past 30 minutes. I'm gonna go ahead and just call it like
Oh yeah.
30 minutes or bust.
This is like pseudo like TSM when they recently just played in LCS and they played like that really aggressive like killing comp with like Annie bottom and J4 or something like that. I mean, it's gonna be one of those scenarios where they got to make their play, get ahead, and just ride that snowball out all the way. Otherwise, they're gonna get far behind. Oh my gosh, they're just kind of invading right past his team. Rumble gonna lead out here, although they don't have a big chunk of their team here. They don't have a lot of good CC to really catch anybody though, so they're just gonna kind of like shoo them away at this point.
Yeah. This is hey, let's make some mean faces at each other. No real hard level 1 engage, although let's see what Mr. Haha started with. Oriana's more of one of the scouting. Actually, Mr. Haha has not picked a spell yet. Most likely wanted to taking that damage shield first, and it seems pretty much standard. If need be, she could take tornado or that slow. With that heavy aggressive warding in that river, I would expect them to kind of possibly make a play here for red buff, and Zik has kind of felt this out. He said, hey look, they went in here, they placed some early wards near blue, that might be circling around and wanting to take red, just kind of letting them know where the wards are, and so they might use, okay, so Janna decided just to kind of counter ward with a pure vision ward instead of possibly dropping that ping. She had knowledge of that ward. What do you think? Oh, they're gonna give they're gonna give red buff to Wiz Fujin.
Yeah, we'll see. I expect that it might be what they do have in store. And yeah, I mean, it's actually a really smart move because they have Nunu there. They can actually start that, and that's going to be a really big pain for whatever lane they decide to go to. It looks like they're going to decide. It looks like they're going to shade towards mid, so I think they're going mid. And there's a pause because Wiz Fujin probably DC'd because he's just standing there looking dumbly at the creature. At least he got red buff. At least he got red buff. That's what counts. He got red buff.
All right,
red buff achieved.
They need to do this quickly because right now, like, the strategy is starting to unfold. But what they were doing was they're going to send Vladimir bot 1 versus 2. They're going to send Akali 1 versus 1. They're going to give this red buff to Wiz Fujin, which is going to basically, and I think they wanted to share experience or possibly give the experience to Wiz Fujin so that he can kind of get this early, like, I think they had like a level 3 possibly against Oriana. On top of that, they're going to have Nunu in this mid lane with Clairvoyance to possibly be kind of a hindrance to Zac. So what's going to happen is Nocturne's taking that blue buff, and then what they're going to do is they're going to collapse Nunu Nocturne on Zac at his red buff. I would almost foresee that. They could also bring Kha'Zix if they needed. Kha'Zix would be with level 2 with red buff, so he might have that early leap, or at least. So I kind of like what's going on here.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really bold strategy to start off with, and like, why not do something super unorthodox? And because, you know, like Zik's like, I mean, one of the main strategies too for Judgment 2 when you don't know how to play with a lot of people is like, hey, let's just play an AoE comp with like the champs we're good with. And Satsu's teams seem to have their MO be like, let's play really unorthodox stuff that they have no idea how to deal with, and we'll have the advantage with. And so that's kind of the way they're rolling here, and I think there's a lot of good calls and potentially could here. I think the one thing that's definitely helping both of them is that early. So like for Satsu's team, they have the early blue ward that's going to be able to track Zach's movement, so they don't even have to use clairvoyance like early on unless he just doesn't show up there. They'll be able to get a ton of information from that. Likewise, if they want to invade on this, they'll have to go up and around potentially to get in on Zach, because otherwise he'll see it coming and be able to back off. And they really need to push up this lane, which is going to be one of the main things. Like if they can push up mid lane really far, then they probably can counter jungle Zach. If they can't do that, Orion's going to have a really good path to go over and slow him down or stop him. So that's going to be one of the main goals if they want to actually go in here and counter buff onto this counter jungle onto this red buff. And that should be something they do, because Nocturne, at least going for blue buff, he's going to want to be able to keep his levels up and sustaining up here, and just, you know, getting his red buff taken away from him is going to cut into a little bit of that experience he's going to get. So I think, again, like you said, like the counter jungle into red probably going to be dialed up here, but I think the key is too, is just need to get that that mid lane pushed really, really hard against Orianna, so she has to go up and around Raze instead of just, you know, being able to cut over right there, and then they'll be like really, that will make them successful actually with the counter jungle.
Yeah, no, I completely agree, because that's that kind of an advantage of having Satsulo and Wisfujin running that 2v1 mid, is that they can also farm both Wraith camps if they wanted to.
And here we go. We are underway, back in action, and we're going to see Vlad go into that 2v1. We'll see how well he's able to sustain up against this. But it should be interesting. Nunu's just running straight there. And Kha'Zix is going to either have to apply pressure or do something to make sure that Orianna is shaded away from there, because Nocturne's going to show himself early, and everybody's going to start to collapse off of this. Although they should have the stronger early engage. Like, Zach early on is actually not a very good duelist. That's kind of one of his weaknesses, and they've caught Orianna out here in a lot of trouble. Going to flash early. Ignite goes onto there, and there's the execute. First blood right off the bat from Wisfujin, and this strategy is starting to really pay off. This is the kind of things they need to do, and Rumble has no business coming down on this one, and they're going to be able to take this red buff.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, when you can slow the game, you know, we had 3 minutes to think about what was going to happen. Then we had another 3 minutes with the pause. We're like, okay, once you gave us 6 minutes to think about it, we could kind of see what they wanted to do here. I was not expecting that first blood to go so quickly, because because at first Kha'Zix was only level 1, and even though he had that red buff, he was only level 1, and Orianna had already hit level 2. They've already taken that buff, so it looks like we're going to see Janna now rotate up, and possibly interesting.
Yeah, it's just like all pressure all the time. Now actually having to support Apollo come in here, and they just quickly smite and try to get out of there as quick as possible. And this roaming gank force coming up on Zik, again, just really good pressure. Although the funny thing is about this matchup too is like Akali into Rumble like isn't necessarily like the best matchup ever, because a lot of his AoE just ignores the fact that she steals. So like she steals and you just like sit there with Flame Splitter like, I'm still doing damage to you. Like, what are you gonna do about it? And then she just like runs away like you see right there. So Zik actually getting some early dominance up top, even with like some pressure that they were able to call in. So this will be interesting. I mean, this game, they have to do, like, that was a great start, but they have to do more than that, because they're only 300 gold ahead, and they're gonna have to keep snowballing this. Otherwise, it's not really gonna pay off for them.
Yeah, because eventually what will happen is that the enemy team's, you know, a long range attack carry will be able to, you know, be able to walk up and siege turrets, and there's nothing they're gonna do about it except possibly, you know, a hard engage. And right now they can have Janna just sit back and be you know, that counter engage, just saying like, hey, you can do whatever you want, but
yeah, I can cancel your leap with Howling Gale. I can, you know, we have double bubble between Command Protect and Eye of the Storm, so it's like, okay, like at this point it's like we're going to stop a lot of your pressure. Also, if you want to even get damage on turrets, I can throw a bubble on a turret. Like, it's a really good stall tactic. It's a really good use of the tool that they actually have here with Janna, and that first pick really paying off for them, even though they have this big AoE team. Like, Janna's #1 at protecting turrets and just stifling aggression like this from assassins, and they're going to have to do a lot. Maybe they go on bot lane, because the one thing that did happen because of this, because they rotate Janna up like they did, there's no wards actually for Graves. So if they ever like call down this roaming, gank force that they have going around the map right now, like it would be able to easily get onto Graves, and backed up with a little bit extra damage from Vlad, should be a good time for him.
So one of the things I noticed though is even though Nocturne has, Nocturne was privy to 2 buffs and Zac got his red taken, Zac is already level 4, and Nocturne is still behind. I don't know if this is because Nunu has stolen some EXP, but right now it's not working out in his favor currently.
Yeah, I think it's a combination of that plus, we saw him like with a few failed ganks up top, and one thing that I've just kind of noticed from a lot of junglers, and we saw it even in LCS, like game 1 of like with Cloud9 when they first like kind of came on the scene. You get both your buffs stolen, and then they actually went and pushed down a turret, which was great. But a lot of junglers just kind of put their head down, get back in the jungle, and if you see like the assassin jungler like Nocturne, he's roaming around a lot, like trying to go for ganks. If he's not getting those ganks, you just kind of slowly just pull back ahead or stay even, and then all is good and well. And in this case, that's kind of what's happening here.
Yeah, right now Zik doing his best to maintain Akali being zoned quite a bit. I mean, she's gonna lose about 25% of her health just to get that last hit on the Siegeman, and she's got some pots here, but she's not gonna be having a good time. Especially if Rumble wants to, if he gets a little bit more harass on, he could definitely go full bore and take down Akali, no problem.
Yeah, and she went boots, just kind of disengage and try to get away from him as best she can. But really, like until she gets like enough, until she gets some sort of AP and level 6, she really can't do anything about him. And at this point, she's still level 5, and Rumble has all the advantage here in lane. And if she goes in on him, she has ways to try to get around Equalizer, but it's still just like a huge threat for her. So, and she's probably not going to get a lot of support up here anytime soon. Hal and Gale coming out around with Zac, and they're just trying to sending Nunu away, like shooing Satsula away. They're like, hey, get out of our jungle. You have no business here. And Janna's kind of being the key right now. Janna, like Mr. Ha is kind of the X factor that's kind of shutting down everything that they wanted to do.
Yeah, he's definitely playing really well here. A new addition to the league. I'm trying to say I think he's a friend of R-Wolf, so I'm not quite sure. R-Wolf also a new addition to the league, brought some friends. So we're glad to actually have these players step up each week and compete here in the league. And hopefully, they're finding that, from other games that I had a chance to watch, they were all really close. They're all exciting. This one's a little bit slower, but it definitely has an unorthodox style so far. And this is going to be interesting because if they choose to collapse here, we've got 4 players with Rumble coming down with the Equalizer.
Oh, this is starting to get really scary for Satsuma team. They're all very, very low already. The ball's going to come in, and the quick flash from Satsuma is going to save his life. Otherwise, he was donezo. And yeah, this is starting to get really scary for them because they've kind of just like stalled out. Like they had this big, huge oomph, and then now they're only like 200 gold ahead. Like we see that, and like the better team fight comp is just kind of winning this one out. The Orthodox comp is basically stifling their aggression, and they need to find more picks. And we see that Nocturne actually finally has hit level 6. He actually was able to pull ahead in levels of Zac.
Yeah, we could see a play here.
But they need that. They need something to happen here soon because Vlad getting sent away and Graves getting free CS. Not cutting it.
Oh, they might try to kill with Fujin right here. And he's going to leap to head safety. I thought we might see a play from Nocturne now that he's 6 here. I think they could do quite a bit of damage to Orianna, but Kha'Zix's not having the hit points to really do much of anything. He's going to shop, and I think we will see a play. Meanwhile, in bot lane, Italian one doing work in the CS department, up to 80 CS. Not too bad at 9 minutes in. He had quite a bit of a gold lead on Vlad, but Vlad, I think, has now picked up a couple levels, and so should be able to start getting some of that CS back.
Yeah, I mean, he's getting to the sustained, just like AFK farm kind of phase. Especially once he hits 9, he gets the max cooldown on Q, and he already has the revolver. Like he'll be set up, and he went. He was pretty smart there. Got a Doran shield as well, just to make sure he can sustain up and hang around long enough to not be completely pushed out of lane by Italian one's AD. But Graves, I mean, like the only way this actually would have been worse for Sasula's team is if like Graves was like a Tristana or someone that had like was like a hyper carry, then it could be even worse. But I mean, he's still a really effective just kind of AoE AD, which will still work great for them, or marksman as Riot's calling them now. The new classification.
Well, I'm not on board with it. Oh, finally we're seeing a Nocturne actually went top on Zik. Parrot's taking a ton of damage. Took way too much time in the Equalizer.
Oh, he runs back into the Equalizer. This is scary. Oh, he doesn't turn. And that's kind of the great part about Rumble is the 2v1 potential right there. Even though like should have been like completely one-sided. Now working out, and there we see Jacob Hysteria going in here, but he gets barriered. Oh no! Oh, is he gonna get outplayed here? There's the flash and the buckshot to the back of the head. Oh, and just a bloody mess left it now there on the ground in bot lane, and Italian One getting the outplay right there.
Yeah, I think what happened was Jacob was anticipating the Graves ult. Uh-oh. I'm going to just keep talking because we could see some aggression here. Trying to lift his Lee Sin, even with that double bubble, getting a little bit below on low health. But yeah, I think what was happening was Jacob Hysteria anticipated Graves throwing out the collateral damage, and Graves was like, I'm going to hold off and be patient. Then I'm going to go ahead and kill you and then take it.
The all-in is strong with this one. Monsoon and Bubbles, though, protecting him, and it looks like Monsoon is just going to take the damage he can get. Throws out the spikes at the last second. Ignite ticking off on him. It looks like he's just barely going to be able to live on this. Both him and Janna. Yeah, that Karthus pick looking really good right now from earlier. But it's not going to happen, although a few low targets. This is like the perfect moment, too, where like if you would have had your Nocturne with his ult, like just kind of waiting in the wings, you could have thrown him in there. Fortunately, you used it earlier. But yeah, I expected him to kind of... I mean, they went up towards Rumble, but like Rumble's, again, is one of those champions, too, that like if you get him a little bit behind, like it might help the lane. And like, yeah, it'll be great for Akali. You still see her getting backed off here, but you really need to like... He's still good. Like, Equalizer is still good if you're behind with Rumble, where I feel like if they would have just went bottom where Italian One had, like, no wards forever and, like, would have focused down there and taken that turret early and stuff like that, like, then you would have been, like, in business. But instead, Italian One just kind of been able to farm up here. You still have a really effective AD carry, and, like, all is well in his world.
Wiz baiting out the shield. Mr. Hahaha is playing really well here. Very patient with tornadoes. Earlier when he got dove, had a perfect Monsoon. And finally seen Zac here in the mid lane.
Yeah, it gets the bubble. A little bit of extra AD for him right there. Just gonna lay the hurt down. Actually, Zik actually made like a play mistake actually up top against Akali. Still has a ton of health, so it's not actually really punishing for him. But he actually overheated on a scratch shield to reduce some damage. I think panicked a little bit, and so he actually didn't get any punishment onto Akali going out. So good move for her. And then we're gonna see here we see Nocturne again. Equalizer coming down, hits Akali as she comes in, backing off out of this, overheats now onto the wave, and should be able to get this kill. Trade 1 for 1. Again, Akali just needs to like get out and trust Nocturne to handle the business, and then come back in after Equalizer's gone. And off the back of this, we're going to see Team Zik actually just go for a drag. An easy call there after so much focus went top. And I have to, again, question them keep sending people top for Zik.
Well, they won't be able to take this top turret, but they're certainly going to deny at least 1 or 2 creep waves to Zik. Akali should be coming back to a reset lane. That'll be, you know, kind of good for her. I don't know if she can win an all-in yet, or if she will be able to win an all-in versus Rumble, actually. But that's kind of what they're at right now in that top lane situation. Is they want to trade, and so far, you know, they came 1 for nothing the first time. This time they traded 1 for 1. Do next time we see Rumble taking? Oh, Jacob Hysteria probably in a lot of trouble. Wiz Fujin's gonna pop his ult here. He's all in. They've got Akali here.
The left bounce start, Absolute Zero in the middle of nowhere. Wiz Fujin might be able to get out, as it looks like. And there's the flash after. There's going to be the explosion. They're going to be able to pick up Akali, meanwhile, being able to pick up a kill there. Now comes back to Zac. Zac able to squash it out in a double kill for the Goo Man. And more pressure onto this mid turret. They don't have a lot of creeps to push this out, so they're going to need a little bit of help. Although it's low enough. So yeah, Bubble's going to be able to do it. Italian going to be able to pick up this mid turret with his team. So they're taking out bottom turret, mid turret. The next one up in line is this top turret. So Nocturne better be careful. It's going to be a rough one.
They are rotating up. They are going to have vision. Look at this ward coverage. These are, I mean, we've got like this trifecta of wards covering the blue team blue buff, the blue team entrance and exit to river. Although one of those wards is about to fade, but that's
I think
some solid
it
coverage.
looks like a W for win. Although the W just oh nope, Zik replaced the end. Okay, so W is intact. Good work. Well done by them. So wards coming out from both teams again. They realize like that's really important, especially this top side. We see a lot of wards again. They're keeping up that triangle of doom up by Blue's blue buff. And they're looking for that, and Blue realizes this, and they're spending a lot of effort. They're kind of shading that way, maybe looking for a play on Zik, who's been really susceptible and doesn't have a turret to fall back to. Zik realizes this, and so he's kind of like, I'm going to be pretty patient here and just kind of rely on my wards and my team's vision to keep myself safe, and he's back on the pressure on Akali.
Yeah, the kills are tied 4-4, but I mean things are going well in favor of the red team right now. They're probably going to be able to maintain dragon control. The blue team has not been able to kind of get ahead in kills, which is what they want. The Graves 1 versus 1 versus Vlad has definitely worked out in Graves' favor. He's now got red buff, and he's sitting at 150 CS, almost 60 minutes into the game. That's good by any standards. Although we've got Wisfujin coming down, not much he's going to do about this.
Yeah, I've been surprised how well they've been able to avoid ganks. Like there was like not even really a ward there. Italian just like, no, I'm just gonna play smart and safe, and it's almost like these guys have played against the strategy before. The way they reacted to it, shifting Janna to mid lane, the way they've just kind of handled all the pressure. And so those teams like they clearly like wanted to have fun this game, but it's not working out for them. And Zik taking this turret, this is just kind of like one of those scenarios too, where it's like you have to be ahead. And you look at Akali just kind of going in there, doing her combo on Zik, and Zik barely
this is not gonna be good.
Barely take any damage. And yeah, this top tier is going down one way or the other. They can either make a triumphant stand or they can run away, and it looks like runaway is the smart decision. They're going to back off out of it.
Now up 3-1 in turrets. Team Zik just kind of rolling along, and they're like, hey, you know what? We're a standard comp, and we're going to play standard for a reason, because it works.
Yeah, I mean, it was a really fun idea coming out of Satsuda, but you just got, besides the start, like, it's just kind of been like speed bump after speed bump for them, kind of just going for the wrong targets, I think, overall for their strategy. And yeah, I mean, I think they need to focus on Italian one a little bit more. Earlier, he was the more susceptible one, and the mid lane stayed very, very safe as well. And unfortunately, they needed and they kind of almost needed Zac on their team instead of Nocturne. It's like Nocturne's like that great champion for, he's that great champion for once he hits level 6 diving in on someone, but Zac's just like, he can do it a lot earlier and be a lot more effective for the team comp they had with their
I think they're going to have Italian one.
Oh, yeah, this is going to be close, although they're just letting him go. So, all right, that's one way. That's one way things can happen. They don't have enough damage to finish him off, so they're just going to let him go out of it. So, ult's down, taking over bot lane. They've bought themselves a little bit of time there. Now they're going to take Raves as well. And Wisfujin just throwing out the spikes just to check some bushes.
Yeah, I mean, Italian one had used quick draw to get over the wall, and he ran right into Nunu. And then they were like, hopefully they forced him to flash over in the Dragon Pit, but Italian one playing really smart, did bust barrier, didn't bust flash, still got his collateral damage available, is already rotated back into bot lane, and kind of ready to, receive Vlad as a present. Like, all right, Vlad, come be gold in my pocket.
I need to farm some more super minions. But right now, yeah, it's kind of like a sad story you're seeing, at least in the gold. Like, Zik, even though they've sent people up there to gank him twice, like, he's still 1,000 gold ahead of Akali. Orianna, even though they 2v1'd him and got first blood on him, she's still like only like 100 gold behind Kha'Zix as he set up. And Italian, once he's just been able to sit there and farm up, he's 1,000 gold ahead of Vlad. So overall, like, their team is just like the people that need to get farm are getting farm. They get stacked. There's no really big advantage for this assassin comp. So they're just gonna have to rely on like some really scrappy fights or pickoffs going forward, because if Zig's team just like is disciplined and just like plays this one out, like, they should be able to take this game pretty convincingly going forward now, because they've kind of like got out of that scary stage where like some really powerful champions could have been roaming around diving in, and now they're to the stage where it's like, oh, you want to fight us? That's great. Like, you don't do enough damage even though you're assassins yet, and we can just kind of crush you with our AoE.
Yeah, so they're going to pick up a really easy dragon, and right now they're going here on Voltix. Voltix is going to be able to head out of Equalizer, but we'll have to bust Flash. So Equalizer is down. Now would be a good time if they could set up a fight, would be or a catch, which would be pretty good right here. Looks like they want Zik. That's not really the one you want. Zik is going to immediately flash, but they're going to give chase here. They got to be careful because Zach, Orianna, and Jen are all down here and waiting, kind of pounce. Although Orianna getting caught out a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit deja vu from earlier with the red buff steals. Doesn't want to get sandwiched again. She's going to pull off for the team. They're going to let him have that one. Again, Zik just kind of blowing his ult because they wanted to get a catch on to Nocturne. And lucky part for him, I mean, you can do that with Rumble because we see here his ult's already off over half cooldown. And he's even coming in here and just decimating with Fujin. Without that, just has little Leandries. That's pretty much all he needs. Like a bunch of Magic Pen and Leandries do true damage, take percent health, like call it a day, like profit. Nunu actually in a lot of trouble here. Satsula's going to need some rope-a-dope. Parrot's trying to get a little bit of distraction in here, but yeah, it's going to have to burn Flash to get out of this one. And there's a left bounce and a buckshot to the face on the way out. Nunu sneaking out the back door. Was it worth it? Was it worth it to get Satsula the advantage here? Lands one harpoon, flashes the second one. There comes in the Flame Spitter, but the Snowball might be able to get him out. Now he's going to play Ring Around the Rosy. Wants to hold on this Oracle's so bad, and Zik is just laughing maniacally as he's going to be able to pick up that kill pretty easily. Very, very veteran play right there. And Tatsuo just trying to make it fun.
And meanwhile, this mid turret going to go down. Not much they can do about this. I think they want to fight, but there's not much. I mean...
They need their full team. Like they have no range AD carry or like to fight back with, right? Like it's not. It's like it's kind of walk in with range, and you don't have range. It's like your only option is go in or just lose your turret. And they just lost 2 people in the top jungle. There's no way they're going to be able to hold that 3v2.
Satsulu now has boots. Did pick up boots of mobility. He's got a Ruby Sightstone, and his Oracle has not. You don't lose it on death, but only has about 30 seconds left of that Oracle. If he were to find a bunch of wards, he could go anywhere on the map, and there's about, I don't know, 6, 7, 8
Ooh, piece of candy.
red forms on the
piece of candy.
Meanwhile, though, Vlad did pick up that bot lane. Vlad, starting to get that farm up. We can see that he's at 200 CS now. He's got this bot lane completely pushed up. And this might be the time they spring the trap.
Yeah, and the cool thing that we see here coming in from Dragonfist Lee Sin is he was actually like really smart about his itemization too. Like he went just like straight Hourglass. He's like, hey, I'm against a bunch of AD champions, but I can Hourglass when they all dive in on me and try to kill me, right? And I can still get off my combo and facilitate like I have to. So very, very just like smart, just like quick on this to be like, hey, like I could go the normal build, but I got my tier. That's all the mana tradition I need. Just rush the Hourglass. Become really, really hard for these guys to assassinate. And the more they kind of do that for their team, the less and less hope is going to be sitting in. There's going to be a glimmer, just a glimmer in Satsula's eye. Like there's going to be nothing left, and there's kind of like slowly taken away from even just with itemization right here. Impressed that Nocturne's actually, as far as he's been able to keep up in farm and kills as well. Like his gold lead, like he got to his runic bulwark first. Like has been able to set it pretty well, even though he only has like the 2 ganks on top. But other than that, he's been fairly quiet.
Yeah. I don't quite know. I mean, they're definitely going to try and keep these lanes pushed, and they're going to have to try and set up like a really strong, maybe a 3v3 skirmish, but where their assassins can get in there and pick off one person, and then quickly turn into a 3v2. I think that's kind of what they want to hope to accomplish here, especially if it can be like on a Graves, maybe a Rumble, like absolutely just immediately say, hey, 3v3. But we're going to be able to do our damage front-loaded and take out someone and quickly turn into a 3v2. I don't really anticipate that because they've got Janna who says, nope, you don't kill anybody. And Zach that says, you can focus me all you want, but I'm going to come back, bro.
Yeah, it's built-in anti-assassination. It's pretty strong. It's pretty strong as a passive. He's going to slingshot out. He's like, snowballs don't stop me from flying through the air with great speed. So goodbye, dude. As I fly like halfway across the map. GG.
So Enokun going to go ahead and get some vision control here over Baron. He's got that early Orko. Satsulo's like, oh man, I just placed some wards, bro. But we'll be following up here, getting some rewarding. Waiting in the weeds. Says, oh yeah, you went to clean this up. You're a jungler, bro. You don't carry wards. I'm just going to go ahead and replace these.
Yeah, Zik actually able to finish off his Rylai's too, so now he has like that full utility build of Rumble. This is kind of like the power spike of him where he just becomes like ridiculously strong, where he already does a ton of damage. Oh my gosh, 100-0. Get out of my face, says the Italian one. Sends Parrots packing.
And it looks like they still want to fight here, but a really good equalizer.
Yeah, and there's the ball already put on with the command shockwave in tow, but I don't think it really landed right there. Vlad gonna pull out of this, but I think they got something waiting for him on the back end. Gets the heal, the clutch team heal to protect him, and it looks like he's barely gonna be able to survive out of this. There's the leap. Zach trying to get in there, still gets hit by the absolute zero, but he has that passive in the back lines. Nocturne popping out just to try to stop them from being able to focus them down. Now they got sight back. Wizfujin, what are you doing still here? He says, I gotta leap. Don't worry, Pato. I'm gonna be able to get out of this one. Howling Gale popping up, but they should be able to take out this turret after a great zone out and dive, really. Dragonfist Lee Sin getting pretty hyphy right there, like taking some turret shots. Now he has a collie on the back of him. Oh, he's got one soon, and all the bubbles. Oh my gosh. I think Dragonfist Lee Sin, like, I mean, backed up right there, able to help out, but Italian one is basically like an anti-Akali, anti your face on a stick. It's like, anyway, any of you assassins that come in here, I'm just going to blow your face off. I mean, this is Akali good.
Yeah, I mean, Dragonfist Lee Sin got down to less than 100 hit points. But between level 4 Command Protect and I believe Janus Shield is most likely maxed. Yes, maxed Eye of the Storm. So, I mean, you're looking at 250 damage spell shield and Moriano spell shield of 280.
Yeah, plus the Monsoon, I mean, the healing on top of that. I mean, like, very nicely done. But it looks like they're going to be able to steal themselves a Baron because nothing's really here to stop this. And they, like, this is like one of those, like, sad moments, like, where, like, you expect the Baron to die a lot sooner, but like, you can tell the state of the game by the fact that they're. Oh no! Oh no! No! Oh, okay. This is where you just like unplug your keyboard. Okay. All right, guys, we tried. Good game. Like, GG. No re. Oh my gosh, that did not just happen. Best still in Mr. Haha MVP. This, like, not only has Janna like stolen all of their hope in this game by like with the swap and just like excellent plays and monsoons and bubbles and howling gales, but that steal with a charge of howling gale really, like, oh my lord.
I did go back and rewatch this.
Well, that's a highlight reel. There you go.
I mean, they did this in the LCS, and like we all kind of joked about it. That is rank 1 Howling Gale.
Oh, that's Howling Gale's always the strongest at level 1. People are confused that you level it up and it gets better. No, you just leave it at level 1. It's as good as it'll ever need to be. Steals Baron, catches people out of position, cancels Jarvan flag combos, and Leona Zenith Blades, bakes cookies, like whatever. Like Janna OP.
Always beat Janna. We have a massive fight going on down here.
Oh, this is a good one.
Zach is going 1 versus 4.
Amazing shockwave catches 4 with a Let's Bounce and doesn't have the passive this time though. Gonna fall apart. The hourglass underneath turret from Vlad, and that's all she wrote. Turret gonna be taken down. Wizfujin running with his tail between his legs. Kha'Zix doesn't even have a tail, but I'm sure Wizfujin does. It's a weird birth defect. I'm just going to roll with that one. And they're going to be able... There's the surrender. Well done right there by Zig's team, taking another win.
30 minutes.
Hey, you were correct with your assumption. But I think that was more like... I mean, the Howling Gale literally, like, tons of damage here, but took all the wind out of their sails with it, because like, well, like, it's like, okay guys, well, we're really down, but at least we have no. All right, well, good game. Like, wow, just wow.
Oh, that was great. Oh man, well, Callan, there you go. Our top 5 plays will just be Janus level 1 Halligan stealing
Play number 5 is Janna stealing Baron. Play number 4, Janna stealing Baron. No, we'll just loop it. Yeah, but, video incoming. It's gonna be easy. All right, but thank you guys for coming in and watching. Glad we were able to come back and cast the finals. Sorry I was gone. I was casting the MS Intern finals with Malphus X, who actually should be joining us for the finals of Judgment League, which I'm actually really excited about. Really good professional caster, so should be a good one. But I loved Satsulu's attempt at trying to mix it up here, and that was really fun to watch. And I'm always a pleasure to cast with Highwind and get the Pato Win combo together.
Yeah, and I want to thank a lot of our other casters that popped up in this week. We had another TriCaster, or sorry, a cameraman and two casters working the mainstream earlier. Can't quite recall all their
College
names.
of Casting, yeah.
But they brought to us by College of Casting. We're going to be working with those guys going in the future, plus our ever-talented The Pimp Imp, our Victoria resident streamer and caster. I believe Don popped in and did a little bit of casting for a little bit, and
Yeah.
we've also got
I'm
a
Thorbo.
I'm Thorbo. I think that's David just hopping in here. So, by the way, thanks guys for helping us do this. It's kind of like a community growing thing, and this is a great place for you guys to come in and try your casting. So, if you guys know any casters that are looking to do some casting going forward, I mean, this is just the Judgment, League Season 1. Season 2 is gonna probably double, and who knows where we go from there. But everybody, thanks for tuning in, and I'm glad we could have brought this in. Thanks for a quick game, because we kind of got a chance to wrap it up nearly on time. I'm going to go ahead and tune in to some of these other games just to see where we're at to get everything wrapped up. But thanks, everybody. This is Highwind, and Pato signing out.
Yeah. Make sure you guys check around these channels. If you click on the buttons below this video right here, channel 2, 3, 4, you can see if any games are going, and definitely check those guys out and show them some love as they're still probably casting.